Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a cult leader. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a cult leader. Yeah. They say I'm in the cult. They say a nigga lost, but I done lost it all. Family and all, they didn't get involved. They just wanna ball, some wanna stall. Back against the wall, we gon' show them all. I don't wanna be here, land of the slaves. We are not afraid, we are not the same. I done seen death, nigga, looking in his eyes. My higher man told me don't lift the pride. Them haters gon' try, but them devils gon' cry. I don't wanna side, nigga, I just wanna ride. I don't wanna hide what I really feel inside. Them devils gonna play for what they did to mine. Look me in my eyes. I want 7 wives. I want 7 kids. I want them to know that there was no hope. That there was no joke. This is how it goes. I do it with no patience. I mean no hesitation. Come on, Lord, we waiting. Look at what they saying. I can't let it be. I can't turn the cheese for what they did to you and what they did to me. They say I'm in the cult. I guess I'm in too deep. I guess it's really deeper than it really needs to be. Forever is one West. Forever we the best. You don't want to test. There's only one West. Cult leader. Yeah. We speak the truth, but we a cult leader. Yeah. Well, bitch, and I'm a cult leader. Yeah. Well, bitch, and I'm a cult leader. Yeah.
Wages of sin, death to your cult leader. You ain't one West, so you don't know scripture. Nah, you ain't in the truth, so we don't know niggas. Look, I had to change my ways, I don't know sinning. Got the name changed, not to tell you how would I? How was I ever in the world? I gotta ask myself. Man, a white man, the devil, I ain't imagining. Witness in the hill, but my people can't imagine hell. I'm in the field with black men and Hispanics. Never drop my sword and I don't panic like Muhammad. The church, the house of Satan, they just want the time. And you could go against the law, but you won't survive. If can't have that dream, we get birth alive. Most million of my enemies, the worst of life. If you ain't U.P.K, you don't worship Christ. Nah, say you don't worship Christ.
Cult leader. Yeah. We speak the truth, but we a cult leader. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a cult leader. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a cult leader. Yeah. You already know what time it is, you understand? U.P.K, one Western Command Junior High, all my brothers, we going through, you understand? These niggas weak, these niggas don't know what to do. You see these soldiers beside me, standing in all black, with the shields on, that's right. They all rock. Lord is precious, but loyalty is practice. All when I'm mad, I leave you black. Wrong with this shit, I've been needing that. They don't do any crime. Cause all my niggas fight, just all political fight. Cowards cold, real niggas hold brain sand. But they believe and won't compromise the day. They will harmonize the trade. Do not affiliate with impersonators. You cross the line, you gon' catch the bait. My niggas strong, no chase. You other niggas sweet like annihilators. You can't put a brown sugar like annihilate. Every time I move a righteous demonstration. All I do not say. My brother's glorious, you warriors that lay my sword down and never see it change. Stop till we don't warriors thrown in my way. With a supreme audience, proud ass nigga get exiled. No loitering around my brothers. Yeah, you already know what it is. 144 back in the day, U.P.K style, put it down for my brothers. Now roll.
Shalom Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabbat to all my brothers. Shalom Yahweh Il Athan by Hashem Yahweh Shai to all my sisters. This is Officer The Rock out of I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General Yohana. Started out 125th Street in Harlem, New York. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. We are the home of the truth. And here in the I.S.U.P.K, you will get nothing but the truth. And we're here also to prove that the Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. And also that the reason that our people are going through everything that we're going through, the struggle, the oppression, is because we've just fallen so far away from our culture and we do not keep our moral standards, which is our statutes, laws, and commandments. Which today's class topic is, should we forget since it's been so long? Should we let it go? Should we just, forgive and forget? Well, that goes against what the books teach us, because this book says seek justice. So we have never gotten justice for the atrocities that was done to us. Not the Blacks, not the Hispanics, not the Native Americans. And there's still atrocities being committed against us right now. Shoot, you could just turn on the news. The Ukrainians walk right across the border. Right across the border. We still got sisters and brothers over there in cages. There's people that's sitting out there and filled out their paperwork that's been waiting to come in to this country and work just for a better lifestyle. But they sit there and watch them just walk right in. No documentation, nothing. Shoot, 10%, 10, 20% of them might even be Russian spies. They don't know. That's just the difference in the injustice that's being committed against us on a daily basis. That's why you should not just forget and forgive. Not without justice. And have we ever forgave? Yes, we have. We just ended the Feast of Purim when we were in captivity into Syria, and they freed us and gave us the means and finances to go and rebuild our kingdom. We've enriched this entire world. All the countries have got rich off of us. And they haven't tried to, okay, well, let's put them back right, give them their own nation. Let's let them know their history. When we say that Christ is Black, we get a lot of flack. It's all on the news, that they don't believe it. Oh, he's Middle Eastern. Well, we come from the Middle East. That's where we come from. We're Middle Eastern. They don't want to tell you that part because they used your history to go over and do a land grab. And if you start claiming who you are, well, that causes a big turmoil for the people who aren't you, that are where you're supposed to be. So it's a major issue. So, and all this is because of the pastors, our leaders, our shepherds. They're not good shepherds. They're not good shepherds at all. Let's go in and see what this book has to say. I'm going to start with this. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 10. Salakia, I'm going to start out with chapter 8. Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher, of all is vanity. And moreover, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people knowledge. Yea, he gave good heed and sought out and set in order many proverbs. The preacher sought to find out acceptable words, and that which was written was upright, even words of truth. So your preacher is supposed to give you the right words out this book because they're upright. They're going to keep you safe. Even the words of truth. Even if people don't like hearing what they hear, he's still supposed to tell you that. Now, with that, I'm gonna skip over to 1 John chapter 2, verse 4, because that's what's not what's going on today. What's going on is these pastors is doing whatever they have to do to get the money. They'll belittle themselves in a minute. You know, they're up there just shucking and jiving, following the agenda of the presser, keeping you pacified. They're teaching you, they're treating this book of records, our book of guidance that guides our ways, our book of laws, statutes, and commandments, like it's a book of trail mix. The ones that eat that our oppressor don't like, oh, they'll throw them out. Oh, the Edomites don't like that. No. We're gonna leave that scripture alone. Here in the U.P.K, we're gonna bring it out. So let's jump over to 1 John chapter 2, verse 4. First John chapter 2, verse 4. He that saith, I know him, your pastor. Oh, yeah, I know God. I love God. I love him. They singing all, make you want to shout, make you want to dance. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments. You saying you love God, but you eating shrimp, you eating pork, you're celebrating Christmas, you're doing Valentine's Day, is a liar. You're a liar. That man's a liar. Your pastor's a liar. I tell him to his face, you're a liar, because this is what First John teaches us. He wrote a letter to warn everybody about you. And the truth is not in him. So just to make it simple and easy, if the man ain't keeping the statute, laws, and commandments, the truth is not in him. And there's more than 613. If he's not keeping all of them, he's a liar. And this is what our book that is guiding us tells us. This is what it tells you about that pastors. He's teaching you out of a slave Bible. He teaching you slave verses that keep you passive and submissive. Don't trust him. So with that, I'm gonna go all over the place. I'm gonna go to First Maccabees next, chapter 1, verse 11. First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11. In those days went out, Salaki, I'm going to start over. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, just like the pastor in the church, Mount Olivet, Highland, saying, let's go out and make a covenant with the heathen that are round and about us, just like today. Heathens everywhere. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. They love Master so much. It's we're going to go make a deal. They make deals with them all the time. They always making a deal. Who is that? I.S.U.P.K. He made a deal. He was first it was the deal with, he was making that deal with Trump. Trump trying to use him, he trying to use Trump. It says don't make a deal with them. Don't make no covenants with them. That's against our law. We don't make covenants with the other nations because we can't trust them. I mean, all you got to do is look back at the Native Americans' records. White men speak with a forked tongue. He broke every treaty he made with them. He's all across the world making treaties, breaking them, forcing, instigating situations. And it's not just America. All countries are doing that. Russia's doing it. China's doing it. Japan's doing it. India's doing it. They're all doing it. Because they don't have statutes, laws, and commandments. They are nations without morals. They had no laws. Their laws are adopted off of your laws. That's why Adam was not the first man created. He was the first man given the law, that had the law. He had standards. He had morals. The rest of the nations had none. So, I said, who else they always making deals with them. Oh, Martin Luther King, he made a deal with them. See how that turned out. They really used him. He didn't even write his own speech. I never knew that. Most High in Christ, I was in class and a brother brought that out. See, I wouldn't have never knew that if he didn't bring that out. I have a dream speech. He didn't write that. He might have wrote that. I feel as though I have led my people into a burning house. Yeah, chasing after your own lust. Sneaky, sneaking around on his wife, sleeping with the heathen nations. While who is that? Hoover was documenting everything so that he could use it against them. And as soon as he didn't want to do what they wanted to do, let them have it. Al Sharpton, he's always out there trying to be a political activist. If he really wanted to be a political activist, he would be in the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General Yohana, teaching his people the truth, because that's what it keep them safe. He's nothing but a wolf in sheep clothing, not to be trusted. Jesse Jackson will shoot. I don't even hear about him no more. I'm way over here on the West Coast in Portland, Oregon, but I don't hear too much about old Jesse no more. Serving their own agendas. They made out like a fat cat. We as a people have been going backwards. All right, I'm going to go to Psalms 83, chapter 83, verse 33. Yeah, you cannot trust them. It don't mean you got to go out there and be flipping out and cussing out some old lady or taking out your frustrations because you're breaking the statute laws and commandments on her. Because if you wouldn't be in your situation if you were keeping the statute laws and commandments and doing what you're supposed to do. Oh, so yeah. Oh, 1 minute. That is not the right verse. A second. Got Psalms chapter 83, verse 3 through 5. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. Now, come on, y'all. Especially here in Portland. You could look at all this crafty counsel they've taken. They destroyed over 188 homes just for the freeway expansion. Another 55 plus for the Emmanuel expansion. Took away your homes for blight, for just anything they could find. You know, one lady, her what was it? Her grandson got caught selling drugs. She even though he was selling drugs out the house, they forced her to sell it. The predatory loans, giving you loans that they know you can't afford to pay back because it's gonna hike up every year. You know, yeah, you might have started out paying $1,000, then it jumped to 1,200, then it went to 1,400. That third year it's up to 16. A lot of people lost their homes. Crafty councils. How would they get the people's businesses? Taking their liquor license. Oh, you got too much criminal activity out front. Well, how come you don't have the police driving by there taking them to jail? It's deliberate. It's deliberate because if they take them to jail, well, then they can't take your liquor license so that they can shut down your business. Shut down the whole community. It's so bad that Portland State University is doing tours of the destruction and the devastation that they did to your community right here in Portland, Oregon. Then they let the crime rate just run rapid right next to the in between Emmanuel Hospital and that church with a daycare. There's kids there on the side of the church. They're shooting heroin, smoking them blues, people getting killed right in front of the park, front of the hospital, got shot up. Trust me, it's on purpose. That's how you run down the property value rate and you can rebuild cheaply. Save money that way. They take crafty counsel against thy people. Start that over. Psalms chapter 83, verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. You know, Biden, when I was out in the world, Biden made all them those laws against people, with certain offenses. And man, it was hard to get a job. They want to know, oh, you got what, and what's that for? Oh, okay, well, housing stops you from getting housing. And then he says, oh well, I'm sorry. Did he repeal it? He's president right now. He's president right now. Biden ain't thinking about you. Oh well, he gave us extra money. No, he didn't. You just happen to be benefiting from the extra money he was supplying for his people. Just because you're there, he has no choice. It wasn't necessarily for you. This stimulus money wasn't for you, Black, Hispanic, and Native American man. It was trying to recharge their economy. So if you think that they were looking out for you, you were wrong. The difference between Trump just tell you straight to his face. He just tell you. Biden, he's a little bit more sneaky and a little bit more crafty with it. Take real crafty counsel. There's a reason that here in Portland, you lost your only Black beauty store. You ever wonder why? The last one that was left, what was it called? Mrs. C's. The last one that was left. It wasn't because they wasn't making money. It wasn't because their building wasn't up to code. They got put out of business. Landlord decided not to renew their lease. You know what's in this place now? Some rejuvenation center thing, where they redo the furniture, a bohemian thing. It's nothing for the black community, which it was something there for the black community right across the street from Irvington Park before. I used to go there all the time. Now the Chinese have all that. Only know one black store. Well, now I finally found another one. There's only 2 black stores in this whole city and surrounding area. So we'll get outside the city and we'll talk about the surrounding cities. There's a few Hispanic stores, Hispanic meat markets. There's a meat market. They had to import the black meat market back into the black neighborhood because they had took away, the old black meat market. They ran him up out of there, and now you got people that's moving in. We got a population flux coming in. So people, it's like, hey, where's all the black people? And they whole time they were preparing for this, destroying our community. Now it's all built up. It's an all white community where all the black thriving stores and restaurants and barber shops and the record stores and all that stuff. It's all gone. It's all gone. Because they take crafty counsel. They take crafty counsel. So you cannot trust them. You can't trust them. Just forget about it. This is what this book is warning you about these people, about these other nations. Gather thyself together, O nation not desired. So I know you like, yeah, well, that's just this nation. That's just that nation. No, it's all the nations. It's all of them. Here, I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to go to Exodus chapter 1, verse 10. Exodus chapter 1, verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when they falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Now just think about that. Isn't that the way the Aryan Nation and the KKK think? This is their thought process. This is in the book of Exodus when we were exiting Egypt. And black man, why you think you Egyptian? If you just look at it, this is just from my people are dying because they lack knowledge. If you just think about it, Where the pyramids is Lower Egypt. So where's Upper Egypt? So if you trace that now and you come down, you're gonna get to Ethiopia. They were the Ethiopians. Even when they pull out the mummies, they look Ethiopian, brother. You don't look Ethiopian. Okay, you don't look Ethiopian. You know, just like the book says, my people don't even consider. You come from the East, man. White people think ain't no black people over in the East. You know, I mean, you don't look Ethiopian. You know, we look similar, but there is a difference. You know, some of them do look like us. Okay, you know, that's why Christ was able to go and hide in Egypt. You know, but then he was also able to hide because he could blend in because of the complexion of his skin when he was, you know, trying to hide. You know, he couldn't hide if he was pale skinned, he gonna stick out like a sore thumb. So yeah, you know, I mean, this is just the way that the KKK and the skinheads think now. They want to get us about the land. They want us out of here. Go back to Africa. You know, you know, they want to hang us. They always want to hang us. You know, just hate us. Ain't did nothing to them. They just hate us. We're taking all the resources. You know, just crazy. We're all on welfare, and when it's already documented that it's way more of them on, you know, food stamps and welfare than us. You know, the difference between us, even the homeless situation, when it comes to the homeless. You know, brothers be out there homeless is because of the oppression. They're not where they wanted to be. Given the opportunity, they would do something different. They just had it on the news yesterday with those that's in this area is familiar with the 33rd over there off of Marine Drive, where all the homeless people drive their RVs at. They asked this man, and he had to be about. He was well, you know, sometimes they look a little bit older than they actually are. So he was out there. He looked at over 60 to me. He might have been in his early 40s for all I know. All them drugs in the system. But they said, if given help, would you take it? And he said no. And I and it wasn't just that interview of homeless people that I've seen. I've seen another um white homeless man said the same thing. Oh, I don't want people telling me what to want to do, and I can't get high there, and I got, you know, I don't want no rules. I want to be able to just go and just live off the land and live wherever I want to live. Go out in the woods. You know, it's crazy. And this man is over by the Rose Quarter, you know, the Motor Center where the Blazers play basketball. And they getting him up out of there. He's mad. You know, I want to be able to live. Okay, well, fine. Well, you know, go hide somewhere. You know, they don't care. Here in Portland, they'll put a tent in front of somebody's window in a minute and think you're crazy if you say something to them. That's just, you know, then of course they made them drugs legal and people then just lost their mind. It's bad. It's bad. You know. So with that, you know, I'm gonna go to Eschatologius, chapter 12. Oh, Salakia, no. I'm going to go to John chapter 8, verse 44. John chapter 8, verse 44. So these words are marked in red, you know. So this is our king talking, and he's talking to the Pharisees. The Pharisees and the scribes, they all went out and made deals with the other nations, and some of them wasn't even supposed to be in there because of their lineage. But, they had made a deal to get in there. And this is our king has to say to them: Ye are of your father the devil. In the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie. Oh, Salakia. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. I read that a little rough, so I'm going to read that again. John chapter 8, verse 44. Ye are of your father the devil, in the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. It's on the news all the time. It's on the news all the time. Donald Trump, Biden, Donald Trump. Oh man, that man. Whew, he lies so much they got a fact checker on him. He done been kicked off social media for lying. This book is talking about him. You want to trust these people? When it comes to your history, black man, they don't want to treat you in history. It's all this controversy in Miami, which is just ridiculous, but you should not be surprised. I mean, they're running around here. They've been saying, oh, well, Christ is white, which is a lie. Then they'll say, well, color doesn't matter, but color is a pathway to the truth. If they're going to lie to you about the color, something so simple, just imagine what else they're lying about. You can't trust them. You cannot trust them. Yeah, you got to go out there and go to work, but I don't think you want to go camping with Bob. Bob with all his buddies, they going hunting, they start drinking, hooping and hollering, So I don't think you should trust to go camping with Bob. I had a cousin, and he had this guy building this engine for his car, and he gave this guy all this money, over 10,000, and I was like, man, I don't know, man. You shouldn't, man. I don't trust. I only trust God and sometimes not even myself. I just learned to trust myself by being in the I.S.U.P.K. Only one I trust is God. I said, man, I sure ain't. You ain't learned nothing from my ancestors. I said, come on, man. They broke every treaty that they made with the Native Americans. You ain't learned nothing from that side of your family. Long story short, the man ran off with his money. I laughed at him. That's what you get. You don't trust your own people, but you gonna trust these people that took your ancestors from their land, enslaved them, kept them for over 400 years, released them, and still treat them as a slave. Anybody is does that is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And with that, I'm gonna end this class. Shalom, Israel.